Good evening. Good evening to each of you. I am Dr. Corrine Johnson, and I would like to welcome each of you on tonight to day number 29 of the 60-day marriage challenge. And on tonight, your challenge is going to be to reconnect with your spouse. Our key scripture is going to be coming from Song of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 4. And it says, I found the one my heart loves. I held him and would not let him go. And so, how are some ways that we can reconnect with our spouses? So, we must understand that regularly reconnecting with your spouse is essential because it reminds you that you're more than life partners, you are teammates. And so you are more than roommates, you're soulmates. And so we want to make sure that we are intentionally reconnecting with our spouse. So, what are some ways that we can reconnect with our spouse? Well, the first way that we can do that is to know that actions speak louder than words. And so one of the simplest way to reconnect with your spouse is to let silent gestures speak sometime. For instance, just giving your spouse that tight little hug, or if you're sitting beside them on the couch, reach over there and squeeze their leg or their knee or whatever. So you can make gestures like hugging or giving them a kiss on the forehead. That's reconnecting and building intimacy. The next way that you can reconnect with your spouse is you got to know that for every negative interaction that you have, make sure that you have 5 positive ones, because positive talks need not necessarily be about your relationship as a husband and a wife. It can be something related to your career, your relatives, or just, whatever. But just make sure that when you have a positive attitude, a lot of times it makes that communication flow easily and you're able to connect with one another, because nobody wants to connect and communicate with a spouse that's always negative. So if you have a negative interaction, make sure that you have 5 positive ones to make up for that one negative. The next way that you can reconnect with your spouse is to offer compliments. A lot of times, the longer we're married, the less we compliment our spouses. Tell your spouse how fine they are. Tell your wife how beautiful she is. Give compliments, genuine compliments, talk about how sweet, your spouse is, and tell them how special they are to you. And so the next thing that you can do to reconnect when it comes down to your marriage is to make sure that you maintain a balance between your dreams and your marriage. Because a lot of times when we're seeking the answer to how to reconnect with our spouse, a lot of times we think that we have to put our dreams, on the back burner in order to be able to communicate. There's nothing wrong with you chasing your dream of being a successful person, but you got to make sure that you don't leave your spouse behind, because your success will always be sweeter if your spouse is there to cherish it with you. And lastly, on tonight, you can always reconnect with your spouse by saying thank you. Saying something as little as thank you. It's big, but it's 2 little words, right? So you have to express emotions to your spouse. Tell them thank you for picking up the kids from school. Thank you for being a good provider. Thank you for helping me make dinner. Say thank you. Those words makes your marriage stronger, and it makes your spouse feel appreciated. And so tell them thank you on a regular basis. And this is going to help you and your spouse begin to reconnect. And so on tonight, these are just a few things that you can do to reconnect with your spouse, and not just reconnect, but stay connected. And so on tonight, thank you all so much for tuning in and joining with me for day number 29 of the 60-day marriage challenge. God bless you and have a great evening.